language kind of allows you to connect with different peoples at different levels, right?
Yep.
So people that went to Yale or Harvard are talking in a complete different manner compared to like the local
Correct.
business owner
Yep.
on the corner of the street.
Yep.
But then there's also this idea of like, if you talk at like a fifth grader's level, you'll be able to connect with everyone. There's
Yeah.
this thing that people say. So which one kind of is it?
So that's one of the reasons I haven't like publicly talked about this in depth and in detail, because they will use this skill incorrectly and come back to me and go like, "Oh my God, Jeff, like you said," and I'm like, "Jesus fucking Christ," right? So yeah, there is an element of having to toe the line and deeply understand who you're talking to. And so when you'll talk or when you'll see, I don't want to say Elon Musk. I hate that dude now.
Yeah. Too
Yeah.
overrated.
Yeah, it's just too much.
Yeah.
So when you see like a Jeff Bezos or a Warren Buffett
Mhm.
or any of like those titans of industry, like the way Warren Buffett talks in his annual reports is very colloquial. The way he talks in his public presentations is very colloquial. But you and I both that like behind the curtain when it's him and his boys, like they ain't talking like your grandfather's like,
Yeah.
we're just gonna go, son. He's like, no, man,
Yeah.
this is the wrong number. This is the right number. Get your shit
Yeah.
done. I'm looking for one person to take over this like technology company and don't dick me around. Like I'm pretty sure he talks like that.
Yeah, and a lot
When
more
the
technical
audience,
terms and whatnot.
correct. Yeah, like book value and stuff like that. So that's a fair counterpoint. Here's what I've discovered is that when I'm in the room with a client that's doing 15 to 20 I'm trying not to give away the name, medical research randomizations every single week, the language they use matters. And at no point are they ever talking about link clicks, A/B tests, or pixel retargeting. They're not.
Yeah.
They are saying, "Hey, Jeff, help me grow my business." And I go, "Well, the people that are buying your stuff need to see your face at least 3 or 4 times a week. And we have strategies and actionable, executable stuff that my team has been doing for years that can make sure that the people who are paying you money remember you long after your salesperson leaves the room."
Yeah.
So that using that language like salesperson reminders and strategies, execution, and more importantly, randomizations, that makes my medical research client go like, "Oh yeah, man, this guy gets it." Contrast that with an agency that goes in and says, "Hey man, let me look at my ads manager. Isn't this ads manager so cool? Look at all the automations that I built. This is like so exciting. Let's run a lot of split tests. Your pixel isn't firing." One language will put you in a agency bro bucket. Another language will put you at equal level, if not higher than your client. And so having that understanding matters. If you're talking about, "Hey, Jeff, write an email that's going to sell a $97 product," you and I both know who that appeals to.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If you're saying, "Hey, Jeff, how come you go in the public group and you're just like a normal everyday blow?" Because that's who it appeals to.
Right.
If I was in a room full of like, again, I'm not trying to share the client, but like if I was in a room with my bike shop clients, I would be talking about the Argon 18 gear differentials and how they need to be selling packages of services, including the helmet, including the shoes, including the 6 weeks and 8 weeks of nutritional training. So I'm using their language. I think what ends up being misinterpreted is that 6th grade versus 3rd grade versus college versus all that. I think that's the wrong bucket to be in, right? Like you need to talk how your dream client talk and how your target client talks. I think your video just broke.
Yeah.
And talk about how like your target client talks, not necessarily 6th grade or 3rd grade or 2nd grade. But what's interesting is now that you bring that up, you can see the bucket that you might be in, right?
Yeah.
You can see you might be in the en masse bucket that doesn't appeal to the 5K, 10K, 30K, 50K clients.
I
and so
agree
that's
with
just
that.
the start of like the shift in like the line of thinking, the line of talking.
So I agree with that. And the thing is, I wanted to, so the podcast we're on, I don't know if I've told you, like it's called the Low Level Business Podcast, where we talk more about strategies and numbers and things that are more low level than, the fluffy motivation, all that stuff. Right.
Yeah.
So this is great stuff. And I wanted to dive more into strategies, but because we're on this point and on this topic, I agree with you on what you're saying. I know that, the conversations that are being that people are having at a higher level where if I'm VaynerMedia and I'm going to Coca-Cola and talking to them, they're not talking about pixels, right? They're not talking about clicks. they might talk about clicks. It's mainly, hey, this is how many eyeballs are going to see your ad. That's it.
Yeah.
Right.
And
That's
then
all
you
they
throw that
care
in
about.
with like branding, recognition,
Exactly.
target client. You talk about memory or memorabilia or refresh rate or like how often they think about your brand. That is a very different languaging
Yeah.
than people who are stuck in the ad tech.
Yeah.
And I'll bet the people who work at VaynerMedia, you can tell by their salaries who's talking up here and who's talking down here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So I was getting to this exact point. It's like, hey, the people